Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. More Newcastle transfer news, all of the latest news coming in and out of the football club. Plenty to get into today. First off, hello again from Lisbon. Tomorrow Newcastle play against Benfica. One thing I should point out straight away is how hot it is in Lisbon now. Currently I'm recording this video about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's upwards of 33, 34 degrees, so it is insane how hot it is down here. So Newcastle have got a big test tomorrow night against Benfica in the UCAV Cup. The thing with being a cup as well is quite a good part actually, because we are guaranteed a winner tomorrow. No draws, none of that BS. Somebody is winning and somebody is losing tomorrow. So yeah, gonna be a great game. 65,000 seat at Stadium, can't wait to get into it. So if you want to see that vlog on the channel, make sure to get down there, hit that subscribe button, and as well as that, make sure to get down there and smash the like button as well. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Question of the day, out of 10 so far, what would you rate Newcastle's transfer window? 3 signings through the door, no attacking signings made, which is one of Newcastle's fundamental problems. What would you give this window out of 10? That's my question for you. But anyway though, plenty to get into, so let's not mess around. Without further ado, let's get into it. So Dwight Gayle becomes Newcastle's latest player that has went out of the door. We are sorting to Stoke on a permanent move for nothing. Zilch, nada, none, £0 he was sought for. And it just shows the problem Newcastle had for selling players under the previous owner. We didn't sell players because it was the correct thing to do. We sought players because we wanted to make money, we just wanted to make some easy cash. And the thing with Gayle was he just kept them on the bench constantly. I don't know, he just had him waste his career at Newcastle. It was such a frustrating one because there's so many opportunities where we could have got rid of him and brought in our player, which we never did because his club was lazy under a previous ownership. But yeah, the reason why I talk about Gayle now is that, one, it's huge to get a player out that's on 40 grand a week for now 2 seasons, so the club is actually saving millions of pounds by getting him out on a free now. And another thing as well is that Newcastle is set to get rid of another player at the club. This player doesn't interfere with a 25-man squad, but he's still on a decently sized contract, and that is Matty Longstaff. So just like Kieran Clark, he has 1 more year left at Newcastle on his contract, and the club is set to put him out on loan, which means that Matty Longstaff will actually leave Newcastle because he'll be out on loan by the time his contract expires. Quite an interesting one there. What do you guys think about that one? For me, I do think it's the correct call. Ever since the Manchester United home game, his debut, he came on the pitch, scored the winner, got man of the match. It was the dream debut. And he kind of peaked at that point. He never got to that level again. He had quite a few opportunities. I know not all of them being at Newcastle. He's had quite a few loan moves, but I remember especially the Aberdeen loan move last season. He was disliked by the manager. He was disliked by the fans. He was disliked by the players. That loan move was just a disaster in every right, and he was sent back halfway during the season. He then went out on loan to a League 2 club, and he did find quite a bit of success there, but I mean, it's just a League 2 club. It's not going to blow the world away. So yeah, I do think a loan move suited for him. Whether he has another good loan move or not, I'm not too sure, but I do think his time at Newcastle is over. As Newcastle bring more midfielders into the club, it's just another slot that he goes further and further down the pecking order. He's a player that will want to go out and get first team football, which he's never going to get at Newcastle, so it only makes sense for the club to just get rid of him. So yeah, fans may not agree with that one, but for me personally, I think Matty Longstaff, his time is up, and I think it would be the correct call to let him go elsewhere. Newcastle as a club will have a ruthless mentality now, where if players aren't adding anything to the team or they can't get into the squad, then they'll just go out. It's that simple. We need a 25-man squad where every player contributes. And we can't have people that would just sit out with the squad or be in the under 23s, just not doing anything. And as well for Matty Longstaff, as I said before, he will want first team football. It's not going to happen at Newcastle, so the club has got to let him go. But I wish him all the best. I hope he has a great career. But yeah, that's the call I would personally take, and it looks like the club will do that. Let's talk about potential signings coming into the football club now. First off, Lucas Paqueta, one of Newcastle United's long-term targets. We already know he's best mates with Bruno. He's a phenomenal player who had an extremely successful season at Lyon last year. And as a result, he's attracted a lot of interest from our teams. And Lyon is actually open to selling the player. So Lyon is prepared to sell him. If the offer comes in for the player, they're not going to say no. They're prepared for the worst case scenario for Lyon itself. And not only that, Arsenal have actually pulled out of the deal as well. It was confirmed last week that Arsenal have moved away from this deal, meaning that if Newcastle wish to buy the player, they kind of got an open go to signing him. However, will Newcastle do that? That's the thing. And the problem with Paqueta is now that if Newcastle does not try and sign him this window, then let's say he has another phenomenal season at Lyon. Next summer, that means every single other team will be aware of it, and there'll be more teams that will be gun back in for him. You would think that Arsenal go back in for him again, and you have teams that are like PSG, Manchester United, teams that will realise that, listen, there's a top class level midfielder just had another class here at Lyon. Let's now try and sign him. And that's the problem Newcastle face, that they don't go in for him now. There'll be more competition next summer if he has another good year, which you would expect him to do so. So you can either go for him now, where it'll cost a good amount of money, but you know you're going to get a good player with it. Or you can wait a year, and if he has another class season, then the competition will be higher, and his value will probably also increase. So does Newcastle take a gamble now and actually forget in the meantime about the attacking fundamental problems we have, and just go, you know what, let's sign a top class midfielder now and we play the waiting game, we go again next window? I don't think the club is going to do that. I think the club will make 2 to 3 signings where it's £15 million a piece, and they'll try and place it all around the pitch, especially in the attack. I fully stand by that the club will buy another striker, and you would think a winger as well, which we'll talk a bit more about in a bit. But I don't think Paqueta will happen this summer. I think if it does happen, Newcastle will go back in for him next summer. But at that moment of time, if he has another good year, his transfer value will just increase, and it will cost more money, and there'll be more teams that go after him, which will make it a harder sign to make. So yeah, I think Newcastle will go on for Paqueta, just not this window, which means that whenever we do go on for it, it's going to be harder to sign him. So yeah, that's the update to him. He's pretty much on a plate for somebody to sign at the minute if anyone wants to make that move. But does Newcastle want to do it? Personally for me, I don't think so. As for the attacking options now, we begin off with the striker. No news whatsoever has really came about the striker at the minute. There's been little bits and bobs but nothing really concrete. I fully stand by that Newcastle should try and sign Depay. He'll be available for about £25 million. And do you think Depay is a better player than Chris Wood for £25 million? I would say yes. I don't know exactly if you're fitting Eddie Howe's style of play, but I do definitely think for £25 million, it's good value for a player like Depay. It'll be somebody that will come in and you expect him to score at least a few goals. I know he flopped under Manchester United in the Premier League, but he's a much better player now. He went to Lyon, he had quite a great time there before going to Barcelona as a free signing. But for me, you know, the option's there. It's an obvious signing. If we can do it, then get it done. So yeah, personally for me, I would try and sign Depay as a striker. But onto the actual transfer news now. So some information that has came out. There hasn't been any mainstream media talking about this, so bear that in mind. But there has been quite a bit of rumbling going on. And a good amount where I feel like I can talk about because I do see it being a legitimate link. And that's Julian Draxler from PSG, the left winger. So obviously if Newcastle were to sign this player, it would push Saint-Maximin on the right hand side and Draxler will be on the left. So first off, he will be available for about £15 million from PSG. He is, of course, the German international, or former German international. And he's somebody that he hasn't really played much for PSG in recent years, so I kind of can't come out and go, oh, this is an amazing player, we should sign him, because I don't know, he doesn't play. So yeah, he played, I think it was about 14 times last season, scored 2 goals, but he's only played 540 minutes, which is equivalent to about, just under 5 games or something. So he's barely played, so I can't really come out and say that's a bad return, because he's barely touched the ball. So for £15 million, do you think it's worth the gamble? Well, I do know for a fact that a few years ago he was a good player. I don't know in the last 2 to 3 seasons what he's done. But for £15 million, do you think he's better than the likes of Fraser, Murphy, Almiron? I mean, you would say so. You would say he's at least on par with him. I mean, surely would say he's definitely up to that level, if not better. So for £15 million, this is the way I think Newcastle would do it. I think they will try and split it off the park, and they will actually go for individual players instead of signing one mega sign for like £50 million. And the reason why I think there's some legitimacy to this is because Steve Nixon has actually got a good relationship with these agents, because Julian has the same agent as Draxler. And it's a lot easier when signing players as well, because you have that trust between the two. So you haven't got those complications you had with the likes of Hugo Ekitike. So it would be easy to get these sort of deals done. It's just whether the club wants to do it. And for me, I do see it being realistic. I think it's a realistic value for a player. It's a position we need to fill in. And yeah, I could see the club actually doing it, which is why I talk about it now. But do I personally want him? I haven't really watched him play, to be honest. I can't sit here and tell you he's an amazing player. But £15 million is an amount where you can kind of gamble with. I think it's an amount where you can go, you know what, for 1 to 2 seasons, let's try him out, see what he can do. But personally for me though, I want to see the club make one mega sign while they're making 2 or 3 sort of budget signs to help solidify the team. That's just how I personally see it. I want players in that will start week in, week out and be huge impacts on the pitch. And maybe that's my high expectations, but I rather see that than sort of players that are just going to be squad fodder, that will just be in there for the sake of being in there. A player like Draxler, he could potentially just be in and around the squad for the sake of being in and around the squad, which I don't want. I want players in that will hit off the mark and be an impact. But yeah, that's just my personal opinion. What do you guys think about Paqueta and Draxler? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. Take care. As I said, tomorrow, Benfica in Lisbon. Can't wait for that vlog. There'll be plenty on the channel. Over 1,000 Newcastle fans are down for this event. So yeah, it's going to be great. But anyway, guys, take care. Thank you for watching. Yes, I will see you all in the next one.